Build a trading platform in C# using Interactive Brokers API Part 11, Positions. In this video, I'll show you how to manage your positions in a data grid. So, connect here. These are the positions I had previously created, and they're displayed nicely here with the total here at the bottom. So if I was to buy Microsoft,
opening order filled,
it would keep track of the P&L. I can have more than one stock at the same time.
opening order filled,
So it keeps track of that, and if I wanted to trade a new symbol, American Airlines, I guess.
opening order filled,
That'll be added to the data grid and it keeps up the total as the prices change, or the last price changes. So let me get out of all this stuff.
closing order filled, closing order filled, closing order filled.
So if you're interested, let's get started. Okay, here we are in Visual Studio. The first thing you want to do is create another tab, this Positions tab. So click on your tab control here and go to your tab pages collection here in your properties and just click on add, and then just call it positions, your text here, change that to positions, and then say OK. Okay, so then you want to go to your toolbox and look for data grid view and drag that from your toolbox onto your positions tab. And one other thing you're going to need is a text box. So go down here, text box, and then just put that on your tab control here for your positions, like mine. Okay, on your text box here for your name, call it TB Total P&L, like mine. You can change the background color to black and the foreground color to white if you want. And your text, I have it at 0.00. Okay, so now go back to your data grid view, columns collection, and click on that. And then just add like, I think there's 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Add 6 columns. And the first one you want to name symbol, like the header text. Okay, and then the sort mode, make sure it's not sortable. And the name, call it COL_symbol. And you can do that for the rest of them: position, price, open P&L, close P&L, mark P&L. So for position, header text will be position, not sortable, and name, column, position. And do that for the rest of them. Okay. The name will be Data Grid View 4, and if you want you can change the name to whatever suits you better. but for this demonstration, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, now go to your default cell style, and then change the back color to black, and then your font to 10 and bold, foreground color to white, selection back color to highlight, and selection fore color to highlight text. Okay, another thing you want to change in your properties here is your row headers visible to false. Make sure that's false. And show cell tooltips. Make sure that's set to false. And if you want, you can change your background color to app workspace, or make it any color you want. That's this gray area here. Okay, another way you can do that is go to your Forms1 file in your load, which you can easily get by double clicking on your form here in a blank area. So load form, load, or Form1 load, and make all your properties look like this. It's up to you, you can do it either way. Okay, now go back to your form design. Okay, now go to your properties and your lightning bolt here, which is your events. Click on that and then look for cell formatting. Double click on that, and under this cell forming method here, and write all this stuff in there. So we get the field, the marked value from that cell, closed value, unrealized or realized, and the unrealized values, and the position, and then we check if the position is above or below 0. Depending where it is, it changes that to green, or below 0 to red. Same with the marked P&L, the closed P&L, and the open P&L. And then changes the font to bold. So that's basically what this does for the cell formatting. Okay, here we are in the wrapper. Do a search for update portfolio. In your update portfolio, create a variable and set it to the symbol. And use this to call the update portfolio method in your Form1 file. So my form.add text box item update portfolio with all these variables in it. Okay, now head over to your Form1 file here and search for, well, anywhere, because yours won't be there yet. Add this delegate void set text callback update, and with all these variables, and do the same for a method here. And add all this stuff in there. Create a string for the search value, which is a symbol. Create a counter and a Boolean variable if it was found or not, because we're going to search for that symbol in our data grid. And then we need to calculate the total based on unrealized and realized P&L. And then we're going to change it to a string. Okay, and then we're going to set the selection mode to select the full row. And okay, here we search for that. We go through each row and search for if that stock symbol is in that data grid. And then this increases the counter so we know what row it's on when it does find it. And this is if it was found and there is not a position. It'll create another row with all the new information on it. And it will cancel the market data if there has been any requested. Since the position is 0, then we don't want streaming data coming in. Okay, and this is for if the symbol was found. And it adds that information to that symbol. And this will request the live data. So we get a unique ID, 20 plus whatever row number we found the information on. And then we use the symbol and that unique ID to get the data, like the streaming data. And we call this method get position data, which is right here. So we take this symbol and unique ID, create our contract, and with that unique ID, request market data. Okay, moving on from there. If the symbol wasn't found and the position is 0, we'll add that row. And then we'll call the request the data from there. And this is if all else fails. This is what we'll do. And then it'll call this method here to calculate the position total. And that's down here. So we create a variable. Then we loop through each row based on what's in the last column, which is the value or the marked P&L, and adds it. And then if the sum total is greater than 0, we change the color to green, the foreground color. And if it's below 0, we change the foreground color to red. Okay, now search for get data. So when we get data, we want to request account updates. So when we start the form or connect to the API, we will get all the positions. So that's what that's for. So put this in there. The account number is your account number, or I think it works with any dummy account number. So put this in there and request positions. And also one other thing is request all open orders too. Make sure that's in there. Okay, from here, search for tick price. And scroll down to the end. Okay, at the end here, we'll add case 20. And we have to create an object from our class. And we'll have to create a class too. So that's what that is. This gets a tick price, which is the last price. That's what that is. And then converts it or rounds it off to 2 decimal places. And this gets a position value from the data grid and converts it to an integer. And this here gets the realized value from the data grid and converts it to a double variable. And this gets the average price from the data grid, converts it to a double variable. And this is where we call a class, a method within our class. And I just called it a list string called help. Basically, you can call that whatever you want. And then when it comes back from our class, it puts that value on our data grid on the first row in column 3, which is unrealized. And this help number 1, the second value in our list, puts that on the 5th column in the first row. So basically what you have to do is do that from case 20 to 29. So do that for this, all of them. And I just changed this, my list. I just put 21 for the case. Okay, and also this position total. Basically what that does, I think we discussed it earlier, is totals the columns for the marked P&L. Okay, so to create a class, all you do is right click on this here. It brings this up, say add, and then you add a class. And then you just call it whatever you want. I called mine class positions. And so this is my class I created to do the calculations. So if my position is greater than 0, do this calculation, and that gets returned. These two values are added to our list, and then it gets returned. And so if it's below 0, it does this calculation and then returns the 2, adds the 2 values to the list, and then returns it. So just make sure yours looks like mine. You don't have to call your class the same as mine. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, so go back to your form and just make sure all this looks like mine. Okay, from here just go back to your design, form design, I guess, and then click start. Okay, connect. And these are the positions I've already traded. So what I can do is I can trade Apple.
Opening order filled.
So there's the information. It's the average price is here. Your profits here, open profit or loss, and then the total here, and that total at the end gets calculated down here. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks to all my subscribers and the people who have donated, helps pay for the data subscriptions. So if you haven't already, please tickle the subscribe and like buttons. And if you missed any of the code, that'll be on my website. The website is in the description below, along with a donate link. Thanks. See you in the next video.
Closing order filled.